Hi everyone, this is Pam's Paper Place, and I finished 3 of these Reader's Digest nature or garden type journals. I will be listing these today once I photograph them in my Etsy store, which is Pen to Paper by Pam, and I'll put the links in the description once I finish listing them. So they're all made from Reader's Digest. I think I'm going to call this one brown, the brown one. This will be the green one, and this one will be the blue one because it has more of a blue spine. So these are the 3. I'm going to try to go through them all now. Let's see, let's start with the brown one. And they're fairly similar, just different order, and some things are different, of course, but this one has this beautiful kind of brownish gold cover. Some of the digitals that I used were by Musings by Nikki. I think it was called The Naturalist, and there was another one too. I'll put the link in the description of the 2 main digital kits I used. I've got some burlap here, a little coffee dyed fluffy stuff here. Let's forget what that's called. Just added some elements. Here's a little cluster that I made there, and I think this is a vintage like kind of a crochet there. And then there's 2 signatures with this really pretty fabric. And then I added some of this green leafy trim. And it's pretty, nice. You don't really need a closure right here. My books usually lay pretty flat. Okay, here in the inside, let me snip this thread. Oh, the thread's gone. We have this little mushroom here, and I added this. You can get this at Hobby Lobby, this kind of a burlap trim with the leaves. I have a playing card and this little digital card or journal card that goes there. Here I have on this paper clip this actually, I think this is from TLC Creates. I think it's called Buzz something. And I added this little cheesecloth, that's what it is. This and some little punch leaves here. And then I have this field record in there. So I'll put the 3 digital kits that I used. And here's some really pretty paper from one of the digitals. Here is a pocket, and I put this little leaf here. And then I have a floating pocket here that I have a book page, little digi, some paper, a little pocket. And so what tucks in here is that little mushroom and this cute little tag. Took me a while to get these done. I put a lot of detail into them. Coffee dyed paper. Here is a little tuck that you could put something here. We got some fabric on this rose gold paper clip. They're all rose gold paper clips. Added a little place where you could put a date or a title. There's another floating pocket, and here I have some stenciling. So we have this little tag, and then I collaged some paper on there and made these 3 pockets. So goes there. So that's your floating pocket. And that is this fun little trim here. Here we have a little cluster I added on coffee dyed paper. I have a little fabric swatch there. This is, looks like I have little flecks of speckles in the paper. Here's some digital paper. More digital paper. Here's a stationery. I did some stenciling. This has a little, this was, I think something from Tim Holtz, a little envelope, and I tucked that in there, added some trim here. And then this opens up, and you could journal here, and you could also put something in this pocket here. Let's see, I'm trying to find the best light. Oops. Then we have more pretty stenciling, coffee dyed paper here. Then I sewed these little squares together for a tuck. I think this is from TLC Creates here. A little bee journal spot. Here I added a tiny little feather with some of that cheesecloth, a little rickrack. This is from a book. Added some little music paper behind there. Added this twine with the leaves type trim, and then this is fabric with a little fringe here that's been sewn on. And here in the middle is some, you could, it's from a adult coloring book where you could color it. And here's the middle of the first signature. There's some pretty paper here that I turned into an envelope. And then in the pocket, I have some things to journal on. I think this is from Tsunami Rose. And this is my own collage that I scanned and printed. So I did this collage, and then like I said, I scanned it and then I printed it out. I like doing that. That goes in there. And this, I think, is some Tim Holtz ephemera there, stickers. Here's another floating pocket with some pretty fabric on the rose gold paper clip. And here I added some of this trim from Hobby Lobby. And here's some little collaging, little tab. And then we have some journaling spots. This I added to this little paper place for writing. So that all goes in here. This says field record on there. So there you go. Put that in there. It's kind of a rainy fall day today. I see leaves falling outside and rain. So it's a good day to try to get some things done. I've been feeling a little overwhelmed with all I need to do. This is a really pretty bird image page from a scrapbook paper, and here's some coffee dye paper. And then here I have clipped some places to journal. And then here's a really pretty, I hated to cover that, but you can still see it, that I stenciled the birds onto that page. And added this pretty trim. And here's a little side pocket, places to journal. And here's some fun fluffy yarn type trim there. It's pretty stationery, part of one of the digital kits. Yeah. to places to journal. Here we have another fabric on this little paper clip, and I did some stenciling. Here's another little place to journal, and this was an Edith Holden 1993 post from a postcard book. But I found them at a vintage place and bought them each individually. So that's fun to add, that little Edith Holden postcard. Pretty scrapbook paper and some coffee dyed paper. Excuse me. Here, whoops, I'm getting off. I added some burlap. This is pretty, I think it's a prima flower with a leaf. So that's the end of the first signature, and as you can see, you have some fun things that stick out of the book. So here's the beginning of the second signature. Added that little button, some fluff, and a little leaf, and another one that's poking out the side. And you turn it that way, and I added these leaves and this little flower and the flat back pearl there. And I might want to trim this a little bit. Here is a little booklet. Cute little booklet. I'll have to ink this. Isn't that cute? And that goes in here. And then we have this little tag with the twine. A bird book page. Coffee dyed paper, more really pretty paper. And then on this side, I think this was from TLC Creations Digital. That flips up, and then I have some stenciling there. Journaling spots. Here I did another one of these where I sewed them. I think these are 2 by 2, and then diagonally sewed them. And I have this cute notebook paper. Says "Be Kind." It has a cute little deer on there, so you could journal on that. And then here is a little fabric collage with some trim. This is from TLC Creates, and then you could put something in there. Actually, I think I could put this in here, one of these little field records. So that goes in there. This looks like pressed flower paper. It's from a floral book. And then I added this. You could tuck something here. And this is an Edith Holden page. And I added that there. Pretty Edith Holden page. Part of one of the digital kits. And then I did some stenciling. Scrapbook paper, more stenciling. Then I added this little leaf with this flower and little crochet piece there. Here we have more stenciling. And then a couple more cards. And just another place to journal. Goes there. This is the middle of the second signature. And it has some things to write in. I think this is TLC Creates right here, as is that pretty paper, that envelope. And then here we have another paper clip here. We have this little postcard tag, this trim, and then this, looks like I need to ink it. Let me just ink it real quick so I don't forget. So then you could journal in here, and that goes like, whoops, the other way, like that. And this clips on there. And more Edith Holden. A writing space and a flower book. I did some stenciling. That looks like pressed flowers. And then I got some fluffy stuff on the end of this little rose gold paper clip. And then we have journaling tags. I had decoupaged this napkin with some bird eggs on it. I really like this fluffy trim. And then this is from TLC Creations. So I'll put all 3 digital kits in the description, what I used. This is a bingo card to journal on. That's pretty. And here's another floating pocket. And here I added that, and then here's some not decoupage, collaged there, and then I added a real pretty cluster. I thought that went pretty on there. So that's a floating pocket with these little tags that can go in there. And then looks like I need to put something here. So we'll put this little tag here. Coffee dyed paper, and then a bird book. And you know what? I also need to add a little feather there. So I'm going to add a feather here. So let's just do that a minute since I have it. I'll just add some Fabri-Tac. I think that should work. Let's just add that here. And we'll put it right there. That's cool. I like it. And then I added this kind of twiny, leafy trim there. This is from a bird book. Added some scrapbook paper there. We have a decoupage tag and a couple more tags here. So I spent a lot of time on these. I hope you enjoy them. And then here's a little leaf here. And then I added some of this fluffy trim and this beautiful digital paper. So that is this one. This I'm calling the brown gold one. So that's this one that will be listed. Then we'll do, I'll call this the blue one because it has the blue fabric here. It has 2 signatures. This pretty crocheted vintage trim. Some more elements, collage here, burlap and lace and buttons and burlap here, a little cheesecloth. And there's the back. Kind of similar, but different. There's the playing card, little spot to journal. Here we got more of that burlap and leaf trim. This is the same as the other, so I won't take that all out. And then it has this fun, fluffy trim here. Got cheesecloth, and I did some little cutouts there. Here's a really pretty stencil here. Coffee dyed paper. Here's the floating pocket here. We have this green trim, and I did some collaging. Then we have some journal spots. This opens up for journaling also. So you have that to write on. Oops. Upside down. How much time am I at? Oops, I'm gonna have to hurry. I'll probably just get these 2 done. And then we'll do this fabric paper clip up here. Then we have the leaf here, and we have another little pocket that I collaged on, and a couple little tags. And that goes in there. More papers to journal on. Stenciling. Place to tuck things. This fluffy trim on here. And we did more stenciling here with these journal spots. And fabric here. A little fabric here. Coffee dyed paper and scrapbook paper. Here's a little side tuck with some stenciling there. Journal spots. We have this little flip on this beautiful paper, and you could also put something here, a tag or something. And then here's a little envelope. And here's the center of the signature with some coloring paper. Pretty, with animals and birds. Dragonfly. Here's a floating pocket. Pretty. And I have collaging here. And then we have the stenciling here and another Edith Holden postcard. Coffee dyed paper, scrapbook paper, and stenciling. Here we have this with a bird and feather and cheesecloth rickrack. And we have your fabric tag. Another pocket. A few things in here. Stenciling. A little cluster. And some stickers. This is a sticker from Tim Holtz, and that was part of one of the kits. Here we have this where I stitched little squares for a belly band. Here's the fabric little cluster here. And then this is the envelope, and I'll put this tag in here. I don't think I have anything in there, so I'll put this in there. It goes there. Coffee dyed paper. We got stenciling and this little leaf. I added burlap and a flower. It's pretty. It's the end of the first signature, and here's the second. Added these little elements here and this little fluffy trim with a button and some leaves. On this side I added a flower. We have stenciling. There's a bird book. And here's the little kind of notebook here with different pages. And we have just a place to journal there, and coffee dyed paper, and a little tuck here. And this is paper clipped on with this pretty trim. Just paper clip that back on. And then on this side, oh, I do have some stamping, and this card that I stamped, and then I tore that out of a book, and that's a wild petunia. So if I can get this back on quickly. Paper, a little spot to journal on this little paper clip, and I added this little flower and leaf. And then we have this collage here on this little pocket, and we got cluster, and there's a collage, and then we have these in here. So I like how they turned out. Loading pocket. We have a flower book, coffee dyed paper. Here's an Edith Holden, and some stationery. Stenciling, more stenciling. Here's the middle of the second signature, and I collaged on these pockets. here. This is a little different than the others. And we just have these in here. There's a couple on that side too. We've got stenciling, more stenciling and writing. Stationery, here's Anita Holden. Right there, pretty irises. We've got coffee dye paper and a plant book. Here's a tuck. Decoupaged napkin on here. This tag, the fluffy trim. Excuse me. And then we have one more. I think I might have to do another video maybe. And then I sewed these little squares. Pretty stenciling. Scrapbook paper, and this flips up. And here's a little belly band with the journal spot. Then we got coffee dyed paper, a little mushroom stamp, and a bird book. And then we have a little feather there on that cheesecloth. That's from a bird book, and here's that trim. And then there's stenciling right there in the corner. This is decoupaged on here. And we have this trim here, and this leaf pokes out here. And on the back, and then there's a little fluffy trim there. And that is what I'm going to call the blue one. So I hope you enjoyed those videos. And this is the brown one, or brown gold one. This will be the what I'm calling the blue one. And then I have one more to film, and I will film this one on the next video. And this will be considered the green one. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate my subscribers just taking the time to look at my videos and subscribing and commenting. Thank you. Bye-bye.